organized planning. And we decided in the other call that we're actually going to take this in sessions because it's the longest chapter in the book. So we'll be going in phases. So maybe we have another two or three more calls about chapter 7. And today we are looking at the major attributes of leadership. So of course, the first one is, of course, at the end of the day, who are our leaders? So again, now what Napoleon Hill is telling us the kind of leaders that we need to be and the kind of attributes that we need to have. So the first one is, of course, any leader has to have unwavering courage. So of course, no follower wishes to be dominated by a leader who lacks self-confidence and courage. No intelligent follower will be dominated by such a leader for very long. I mean, just think about it. Do you want to be led by a weak person? Even in a whole family setting, assuming you're married, okay? Do you want a weak husband? No. You want somebody who is going to stand up for you, who is guiding you, who is also, and remember, somebody who is courageous is also able to mentor you. So I think that factor is also very important. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's keep our mics muted, just avoid any interruption. So basically, that is one of the attributes that as a leader, you have to be very, very courageous. And remember, also being courageous also helps you sort out a few issues there and there. If issues arise, then you have to be courageous enough to do the right thing and the right decision. So Lilo, I don't know if you have something else to add on to that.
Yeah, let me just, I'd written a point on that, and this is what hit me when I was reading, yeah, because he talks about unwavering courage based on knowledge of self and one's occupation. So that's basically where your courage as a leader. And guys, when we talk about leaders here, we're not just talking about us as leaders, you know, P600, P2000s. No, you're also a leader by virtue of the fact of who you are. I'm assuming that one day you have a dream of becoming something, either a great trader and, you know, trainer or whatever, or a platinum leader and so on. So basically, it's so knowledge of self and one's occupation, meaning that you need to know yourself and you also need to know your occupation. You need to become confident about who you are, where you're going, and you need to be confident about the business that we're in. So I'll give you an example. For me, as a writer, I can tell you for free, writing is my talent, it's my gift. I've done it for very many years. It's second nature. I don't struggle with writing. There's some people who do, yeah? And I know that I'm a writer. No one can take that knowledge from my head. So the way we can become courageous, and this is what I was thinking about when I was reading this courage point, was that we need to begin to understand our industry. We need to begin to understand what leadership really means. Like, do we really understand what it means? So, for example, the IM Academy, right? We are in the network marketing industry, right? Do we, for example, and especially for people who are just getting into this industry for the first time, because when you understand the network marketing industry, then you begin to understand, you begin to become more courageous about talking to people about it. So, for example, do we know the history of network marketing? For example, when somebody comes and tells you this is one of those things, I don't want to do this, it doesn't work. Many of us sometimes, especially when we've never done this before, we cower and we're like, oh my God, maybe they're right. When we don't see results in our businesses, we're like, oh yeah, maybe they're right, you know? But I can tell you for sure, if you do your research on network marketing has been around for the last 50 years. One of the first, I mean, that was 1930, I don't know what, 34 or 39. One of the first companies that ever came out was a company called Nutrilite. And the way it was founded was because somebody wanted to help their family and decided to create some multivitamins and just distribute it in their family so they could become healthy. And before you know it, it became a company. And he used this power of telling people, tell this person, tell this person, tell this person. Now, the point is this industry has been there for 50 years. So it has been there for much longer than some of us who have been on earth. How is it possible that this industry is still alive after so long? So when somebody comes and tells you this doesn't work, you tell them, by the way, I think I need to educate you. I need to tell you that this industry has been around for a long time. It is one of the industries that has been able to turn ordinary people into extraordinary people. So you're now coming from a point of education, you know? And for me, that's what I realized, that you and ignorance. If you're ignorant about the industry, if you're ignorant about Forex, all you know is, oh, it's just the buying and selling of currencies, but you don't even know what is the history behind Forex. We all went through the academy, we did basics videos and all that, but did we retain the information that Forex started from barter system? It's been there for centuries. Like in the BBC, before Christ, Babylon times, Forex, people have been exchanging goods and services. So if we know our product, if we know ourselves as who we are in this company and who we are in this industry, then that's where we can draw our courage from in terms of building the company and becoming good traders. So I'm also encouraging us, go into the academy, start learning how to trade, so that now you can tell somebody, yes, I'm a trader, and you're not saying it from a point of weakness whereby all you do is take signals, but you actually can explain to somebody, this is how people buy and sell. So that's what I wanted to say about the point of courage. So as leaders, as individuals, we need to be courageous.
Thank you. Then, of course, the second point is self-control. So actually, Napoleon says, the man who cannot control himself can never control others. Yes. Self-control sets a mighty example for one's followers, which is more intelligent, which the more intelligent we emulate. For me, when I looked at this point, the self-control, for example, like, again, I come back to our business. When you're trading, do we have the right self-control? In trade, a trade goes haywire. Point control, you go around banging things, you're thinking, what the hell did I do? Somebody calls you, you're like, why is this person calling me? I'm like, of course, on the network marketing side, you have called 10 people, then you're all getting no's. Then, of course, when someone calls you, you are upset. Do we have that control that in case a trade tanks, that it is okay? In case you get 10 no's, you'll get a yes. So have we gotten to that point where, of course, our business is not controlling us? We are able to actually control business. So for me, this was also very key that we have to learn. And I know self-control is something we have to learn, because it's not easy, especially if you're new in the business. You can imagine if you're a new member and, of course, you enter a trade and maybe it tanks. You're thinking, my goodness, nilikuja. So I know it's a bit hard, but with practice, what do I mean practice? If something goes wrong in the market, tell yourself, you know what, I have tomorrow to trade. I can trade at about 9. Or, just self-control yourself and tell yourself, it's okay. I get to live another day. I get to live to build my business another day. So, Lilo, self-control.
Yeah, and like the way, the word is self-control. So control yourself. Basically, that's what we are talking about. And we are talking about and remember, guys, we are talking to you guys as fellow leaders. So we're not telling you that we are the leaders and we know everything. No, we are telling you, learn to master your moods. Yeah, but that's what self-control is also about. And I'll tell you for an example, for me, my personality, I'm a red personality. I am red. I know Shiro is also a red. I don't know about if you guys understand the color personality. I'm a red, yellow, and sometimes green, but more red, yellow, blue. And the red is the most dominant color, and then my yellow is second. They almost fight with each other. But because of my personality, I'm the kind of person who, for the longest time, and it's only because of personal development, I had to tone down a bit. I speak my mind. I say what I'm thinking. Even, I'm like, okay, if someone says something, I'm quick to just talk and say what I'm thinking. But what I found over the years is, and even more recently, is I've lost a lot of, let's say, relationships, business relationships, friends, because of my personality. Because not everyone, the way we've been brought up in society is to be very careful. Even the way we were raised, you need to talk to somebody a certain way, etc. Now, when you're a leader, okay, it's even more important, So for me these days, when something happens, I don't react anymore. Like Shiro has said, when you lose money in the market, how do you react? When somebody says no to you, how do you react? When something is happening in the team that is not according to, what you want, how do you react? And so on and so forth. When people are dropping in the company, when you're not making enough money trading, or you're not, how do you react? So part of the self-control is, yes, watching your words, mastering your moods, restraint of reactions, okay, don't react too quickly, sticking to a schedule, yeah, managing your money wisely also, okay. And I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but for me, for the longest time, I remember in 2017 before 2017 2016, I had a very good financial year, very good. Like, that was the year 2016 2017 I made the most money I've ever made in my entire lifetime, you know. But one thing that came out of that experience, even when I was going through my financial experience, it was more of, yes, I lost a lot of money, but a lot of the time when I look back, it was also because as a leader, I was not able to manage money wisely, whether it was in our company, in my own personal life. So Napoleon Hill mentions that, you know, as part of self-control, you need to have self-control over your finances. You need to have self-control over yourself as a person, your health. For example, are you guys exercising? Are you eating well? Part of self-control also includes those other facets other than just, you know, your moods and all that. And those are the things that now we need to think about. And so he says, of course, what Shiro said, in short, someone who cannot control themselves. If you cannot, why would someone follow you as a leader if you yourself do not have your own discipline? If you don't have a schedule of when you want to wake up, if you don't have a schedule of when you want to get into the market. And that's why many of us, we do well in jobs. Why? Because at the job, there's a schedule, there's a timetable. If that timetable is not there, now you're self-employed. Do you have a timetable for yourself? Do you control yourself when it comes to managing your time and so on? So I think that's what I wanted to mention on that.
Thank you, Lilo. A keen sense. That's the third attribute of leadership. So it says, without a sense of fairness and justice, no leader can command and retain the respect of his followers. And I want to emphasize on the second part of the business when it comes to this part of sense of justice. For example, like now, Lilo and myself, we have, of course, the group Forex in Hills. It's on Facebook. For example, we have a common friend. And they, of course, they join a Zoom because we're also putting the Zoom IDs there. And then they say they are going to join. So if Lilo and I practice a sense of fairness, we'll start fighting. That is my sign up. No, that's my sign up. So we have to come together and decide, okay, how do you want us to, of course, deal with this? Because remember, especially on the second bit of business, there's so much friction. And like BK keeps telling us, if you don't talk to somebody, I will be talking to them, because we especially now with social media, we have a lot of mutual friends. So how again are we dealing with this kind of conflicts? Because, and Lilo, I'm so happy we've been with her in this business for so long. We have seen conflicts left, right, and center, especially with signups. No, that's my friend. No, that's my cousin, but I'm the one who spoke to him. So again, as a leader, how are you going to sort out this sort of conflicts? And remember, and I like what Lilo says, it's not like her and I know leadership. No, remember, we are reading from this book. We are gaining knowledge from here. If you're on this call and you have signed up 2 people, you're already a leader. You got 2 and 3, you have 2 organizations. How are you leading these 2 people in organization? How are you sorting out? Are you being fair? Or are you favoring one person because you are one sign up? Or again, now and myself. Yeah. And I think, and we keep, in fact, there's another time we're talking with Lilo. Guys, if you didn't know it, Lilo and I are not in the same organization. Different legs, that even though I sign up somebody, really Lilo feels zero effect, and vice versa. But we've gotten to a point where we are so good we are trying to like gel so well that in the event, for example, Lilo is remaining one person to get to P2000 or P5000. I don't mind giving her somebody. Why? Because we've gotten to a point where we know how to treat each other with a lot of fairness, and fairness a lot of respect. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have no respect in this business, you're not going to make it, because we are all very different personalities. We come up from different backgrounds. We have people in here on this call in the US. Dorcas, I've never met her. I don't know the kind of a person she is. So I have to also be very careful when I'm doing it, because we are all so different. So again, point number 3 for me, I feel really touches so much on this networking bit, because ladies, By the time we get to chairman 10, the conflicts we'll have had are very many. So how are we again setting up for this? I mean, how are we, like, what can I say, practicing ourselves, make sure that once we get, of course, once we start pulling these big numbers, how are we sorting out conflicts in the best way without favorism? So Lilo, I think
and the way, I mean, for me, in fact, I have to confess that I'm very competitive. And I know many of you on this call, some of you can relate, like very competitive in the sense that I want the best for myself. I want I want to be the chairman and everything. And this experience with Shiro has really enabled me as a person to grow, because like she said, what Shiro does not benefit me directly at all. She signs people in her team. Those are her people. I will never earn a cent from that, and vice versa. But this experience of us working together has totally eliminated that. My sense of competition now is for the entire team. I want to see Shiro's people on her team winning. I want to also see people on my team winning, people on other teams winning. Even as I share trades globally, there are people who call me or text me from wherever, and I want them to win. So these days I just pour into them, because I learned a very big lesson in this journey, that at the end of the day, if you're not treating people the same, whether they're on your team or they're on another team, there's nothing, it doesn't matter. And that is where this word justice comes from. It is the morally fair and right state of everything. To have justice as a person's character trait means that you are just and you treat everybody the same, or you treat them how you would like to be treated in your business dealings, not just in business, guys, in life, in your home. Like if you're a parent and you have children, if you're not treating your children the same, let me tell you, it will show up when they grow older. Okay. And so in leadership, this is very clear, because this is how you find sometimes people move to other teams. They decide to maybe stand out. They're not there in the team force. They're dormant for a couple of months or weeks. Then in 6 months, they've joined somebody else. And you wonder why. And they're in the same industry, or they're in the same business, the same company, but they've joined with someone in Canada in IAM. Why? Because they maybe felt that we did not treat them maybe as leaders equally, or you are not being fair with everyone. So for me, this point came out so well, that we need to have a keen sense of justice as leaders, as individuals. Yeah. So Shiro, you can just go to the next one.
So number 4, position. The position shows that he's not sure of himself. He cannot lead others fully. I mean, like Lilo says, a point of 50-50 is a point of confusion. So for example, if you're leading a group, or even 3 people, assuming you're a P150 on this team, and for example, you decide that every day at 11 a.m., you'll be having a Zoom call with those team members. And for example, Lilo is among them, and she calls you and says, hey, Agnes, by the way, are you able to move that Zoom to another? As a leader, you're not supposed to do that. Why? Because it means the other person will call and say, no, move this Zoom to this time. So if you have decided, we'll be having, for example, an overview of trading, for example, every Tuesday at 11. Make sure as a leader, then you make sure that is followed to the last. Why? Because again, if you start wavering your decision, like, okay, instead of doing a Zoom at 11, we can do it at 11:30. I'm the way, like we have the 52-week challenge. If BK again now start saying, you know what, guys, let's move it to Wednesday at 8:30. You see how consistent he's been over 18 weeks. So even though somebody is not able to attend, too bad, okay? But as a leader, you have to stand your ground. If this is the time we are doing the Zoom, if it's only one person in your team who is showing up, do it. Go on with the Zoom presentation. If you're supposed to be a trading session, because ladies and gentlemen, like we are saying, I don't know how many of us on this call, we are 18 of us. Assuming that everyone on this call is a P5000, how many people do you have in your team? 225 people. Again, if you start wavering your decisions at that point, that you're being influenced. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, here we are not saying you must impose. Remember, you've discussed it, and you've decided 11 is okay with everybody. So you have to stand your ground and make sure that these things are happening. If again you decide as a group you want to start reading a book, okay, and say that on this day we'll be having like now an overview of the book. You have to stand your ground, because again, what are you doing? You're instilling leadership. And again, what Kina, Randy Webb, Kina, Jewel Tankard, duplication. Remember, what we start doing now is what our members will keep. Again, go back. What happens when you get to chairman 10? You have 500 people. Imagine if they're not duplicating what you're doing. Do you know, you start doing like you're doing an 8 to 5 job, because really there's nobody that you have mentored or shown the rope. So again, that for me, I want to talk about decisions.
Yeah, and just to add that, imagine if you were to sign up somebody like David Imonitie or a Brandon Boyd or a Jason Brown. Guys, if you are not a decisive leader, do you think they would follow you? Like, if you're just to think about it, if you are the kind of person who is always changing their minds about something, and for me, sometimes I usually struggle with that, because I'm like, okay, if we've agreed that we're going to do something, let's do it. Even if it's not working, just keep doing it. And sometimes I like, even, for example, like Bernard and some of the other leaders have been on this, we've been on this challenge for the iPad, and it just started. And BK has been very, he's been at the forefront of this challenge, or this drive. And in as much as some people maybe have not followed through on that, they've not even bothered to participate on the $10,000 champion run and chasing after this iPad, we can now see the results of his decision and him sticking to his decision. We can see now, we've just popped a Platinum 600 who just joined the other day. I think she's just a month old, because a decision was made about this campaign in terms of racing towards chairman, and that decision, people stuck to it. Something else that I want to point out, slightly different, is the fact that, and I think you guys need to think about it from a very personal perspective. We go out there every single day as leaders, and we lose a lot of people because of this one thing. And even you guys, I'm sure you'll probably go through this, but I'm hoping that we can avoid doing this going forward. You come into the company, okay, and you're very excited, and it happens to the best of us, and you're like, yes, this company works, yes, trading works, and you're busy doing presentations, presentation. And then people are not signing, they're not signing. You're always on the Zooms. Before you know it, you show up once in a while, and things like that. Now, mentally, you've quit, okay? Even if you've not quit physically. But now here's the thing, guys. The minute that you start behaving like that, it shows your lack of commitment and your indecision about the decision you made to join the academy, about the decision you made to learn how to trade, okay? And once that happens, guess what you're doing? It's a ripple effect. Everybody you bring, imagine bringing someone on board into the academy. That's why for me, I say, I will never quit IAM. Not now, maybe, unless something drastic happens, something major. But I don't see the reason of quitting to join another company, for example. Why? Because I have brought in over 60 people. I can't go back to them and start telling them, by the way, this Forex doesn't work, because I'm killing somebody else's dream. And that's what indecision does, guys. So be very careful when you're doing this business. Think about what you're doing long term. If you don't want to show anybody the company, don't learn, leave it alone. But when it comes to coming to talk to people about the benefits of the academy, and you actually believe it, 3 months down the line when you blow an account or you don't sign up anyone, please don't quit mentally. Be decisive about your decision. Yeah.
Okay. So the fifth attribute of leadership is definiteness of plans. A successful leader must plan his work and work his plan. I'll repeat that. Must plan his work and work his plan. A leader who moves by guesswork without practical plans is comparable to a ship without a rudder. Sooner or later, he will land on the rocks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be very honest. How many of us here have a trading plan? Honestly, these are questions you need to ask yourself. What do I mean by a trading plan? How much do you want this business to give you in a month? If you're talking about $1,000 a month, how much do you want to make in a day? Assuming even you want to make $100, do you have that somewhere? Once you make your $100, your $50, you're out of the market to do something else. Because remember, again, we keep saying we don't want to be a slave of Forex trading. as much as personally for me, I'm a full-time Forex trader. I don't spend my whole day trading. No, I have to look for other things that I need to do. So honestly, after this call, let's come up with our own trading plan. And I know Lilo has talked about this a million and one times.
Yeah.
And I'm happy members on the call, because again, if you're just entering the market with nothing, you don't even know how much you want to make. You've not even told market today I'm going to make $200. What makes you think it's going to give you that $200? I don't know how many of us were on the call for David Imoniti, and he said, if you don't have a clear vision, my goodness, there's nothing you're doing. Your plan will not work. So after this call, I challenge you, honestly, and if you have a team, get onto a call with them or your WhatsApp groups. Make sure that everybody on that group has a trading plan. And let me tell you, this thing is going to move mountains, because remember, we are saying we are running this as a business. Do you know you need to have an expense sheet? If you're for Wi-Fi, phone calls, it needs to come if you're doing it for full time. So even personally for me, I need to already have that. I need to know how much is this business giving me? How much am I expensing at the end of them? If I'm going out there to meet a prospect and I go to Java and I miss 1,000 bob, use 1,000 bob, it has to come from my trading account. I have to trade and make that money. Again, onto the other side of the building, of the IBO. Okay, want to hit platinum 1,000, for example. Those, do you know how many people you need in your organization? 30. How many people do you need to speak to get to? You need. So right now, you need to already know the rank that you want to hit. I know all of us want to hit chairman, but remember again what Imonite told us, and BK also reminded me this today. You have to have small bites. It's okay, we all want to get to chairman 10. Have even hit P600. So let us start baby steps, baby steps. So you need to have a plan that if I want to get to platinum 1,000, if you don't even have 2 and 3, that should be your first step. Like today I was speaking to, I think, Lilo or Terry, and for me, I have said by August 31st, I need to be platinum 5,000. So I need to work backward. How many people am I on? Like Lilo, when we did her launch, Lilo, you spoke to how many people on your launch?
Many, thousands. 1,000 and something. I can't remember the exact number. Over 1,000.
How many guys who actually participated in that call?
How many were on that call? Almost 100 and something.
Listen, guys, she spoke to 100 showed up. I think there's a lot of work that is set up for us. So we can't sit there and say, I want to hit platinum 1,000. And when somebody calls you and say, I've only made 2 phone calls. Again, there's also a chairman 25 who came on the call with David Omonike. And there's one thing that he said that for me spoke a lot of sense. If your phone is never engaged, there's a problem. You're not making phone calls. Because he said all the time you need to be on call, prospect, invite, close. You need to be doing something. Because remember, as much as we are saying we want to hit chairman, it doesn't come as easy as we think. We have to. This is also on the trading. Trading, ladies and gentlemen, we have trainings almost every day of the week. How many of those trainings are we attending? And we are still saying IAM is not working. We are not supporting. So are you working your plan? Lilo, to you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's you know, when you're talking, I'm thinking, you know, some of us, you know, we are parents, we are spouses, or I mean, when we're getting married, for those who are married, you planned your wedding. And for some of you, especially the brides, you must have planned your wedding for a year, you know, before, or 6 months before. Like you go, the caterer, the location, the measurements of your dress, and you planned to the T. And we plan for our kids, the schools they're going to go for. I know some people on this call, they already have an idea of which schools their kids will go to in university, past university, you know, all that, like Harvard, whatever your plans are. But the thing is, our own planning for this business or our own business, or sometimes we forget about it, maybe putting it on the back burner, maybe because also it's not showing the kind of results that we want. But what I'll just say is this, and I found this to be very powerful. Let's not be like the Israelites. You know, those people were in the wilderness for like 40 years, going round and round and round and round in circles. Why do you think they were in the wilderness for 40 years? Purely because they were given a plan by God. or Moses when they were leaving Egypt. And that plan was the 10 commandments, right? For those who read the Bible, that was the plan. Stick to the 10 commandments, and then you will see the promised land. Now, some of us, we were given 10 commandments or 12 or whichever on the formula for doing our business, on the formula of becoming successful as traders. But now we are in the wilderness. Our wilderness is beginning. It could end up being for 40 years or less. It just depends on whether we decide to go back to the plan, you know? So my encouragement to you guys would be like, let's not postpone our time to the promised land. And the promised lands means chairman. It means 6-figure income. For me, sometimes I'm like, if I have a 6-figure income as a trader, I'm perfect. If I am a chairman and above, chairman 100 by the end of this year, I'm perfect. So am I at this particular point in time sticking to the plan that I've been given by my leaders, by my mentors, by just doing my own thing? And for me, this really came out clearly that if we want to get to where we want to get to, we really need to have definiteness of where we are going and plan it to the T. Yeah. So Shiro, we can go to the next one.
So number 6, more than. One of the penalties of leadership is a necessity of willingness upon the part of the leader to do more than is required by his followers. Again, for me, what came to mind is this. As a member of IAM, you are told about, let's say, 2-3 educators. Do you stop there? And remember, we have over 100. And I keep asking this question. If we were to ask how many educators that you know on IAM, to be very honest, how many of us actually can even name the 100? Because we have over 100 of them. Okay. Again, how many of us are even to the harmonic scanner? Are we like limiting ourselves to, we only told about Dr. K, so I'll only go to Dr. K. There's Manikinones. Have we decided we are going to do more than we are actually expected of us? You understand? Again, this also brings on to the point. How many of us are plugging into those extra trainings? I know sometimes Zooms can be overwhelming, but I remember something Uncle Megwe said. Right now, most of us Kenyans are not going to physical offices. So these Zooms are our meetings. These are our meeting rooms. Like for a meeting in the office, do you start saying, no, the meetings are too many? So you'll attend. So how much more are we doing outside you just being a member? And again, how many of us are even able to do, for example, if you're called upon to do 3-way calls, are you going to say, yapana, me, she's not in my team. I'm not going to do the 3-way call because when though she signs up, she's not adding any value to me. Or if somebody asks you, somebody from the groups just picks a number and maybe just asking on how do you calculate pips. Really, are we even ready to support? Or even even if, for example, one of us has forgotten to post a flyer, are you going to say, since Shiro or Lilo or BK or Toma didn't post the flyer, I'm not going to do it? Sometimes we can forget. But if you know, Lilo has a training at 7:30, there's no flyer that has been put out. Are you going to sit back and say, I'm not going to do it? So are we going out of our comfort zone to just go an extra mile and kind of also help in the organization? For me, I guess that is what came out.
And when you say that, sorry for interrupting. Sorry, I don't know if you're done. Yeah, when you say that, it also reminds me, even I'll give an example of someone on our team. This is Happiness. And I just have to give a mention because sometimes I feel like some of our leaders on our team are not given that exposure because maybe they're quiet or we don't really see them. But I remember when Happiness came to us and she said, you know what, ladies, I want to be able to help manage your Forex in Heels group. And you can't say no. I was like, oh my God, that is so helpful because we get so busy sometimes and some things can fall through the cracks. But and that is, just that habit of putting yourself out there and doing more than you're paid for. For all the leaders, first of all, who do Zoom calls, let me tell you guys, I am so proud of you. I am extremely proud of you because the slog of every day doing presentations, it's not easy. It's not like because we are fantastic. Jeremiah, yesterday he pulled a fast one. He did a 7 o'clock Zoom. And then at 8 o'clock, he was there with HFX, and he's been doing his thing during the day and talking to people and stuff. And that's what leadership is about. It's about going over and above, and just not saying no. Like for me, I learned very early on from one of my mentors, my first mentors. He used to say, Lillian, if someone asks you to do something, say yes. Say yes first, and then you can change your mind later. You can go think about it, and then you say, I said yes. However, rather than just saying no, I'm not available, because sometimes it happens. And let's be real, guys. Someone can reach out to you and say, oh, I need your help with this and this and this, or show me this and this. And it's very easy by nature to just say no, and why I talk about happiness is also because she came out and she said, you know what, Lillian, I want you to mentor me. Lillian, I want you to hold my hand. Lillian, I want to be chairman. And I was like, okay, she's not on my team, by the way, not at all. I will never benefit from any sign up happiness does. So that was also a growth moment for me, because I was like, okay, she's on Shiro's team. Shiro is my teammate. I will still help her, And this, I've been watching happiness over the last couple of weeks. Let me tell you, she says what she's going to do. And this is also about putting yourself out there. When you say you're going to show up, guys. When you say you're going to have an accountability partner and you're going to report back to your leaders, report back, go back, because it's not for the leaders to see you that you're doing what you're saying you're going to do. It's for the universe to also see, and yeah, you deserve that position. And I keep on telling happiness, by the way, you're already chairman material. Do not worry about the journey that you're taking that is so difficult. You're talking to people every day. And let me tell you what it does for even myself. When she comes to me every day and she tells me she talked to 5 people, guys, when I've talked to 0 person or 1 person, I am challenged. So that's the thing about leadership. When your team is growing and you're supporting them to grow, guess who grows even more? You as the leader. Yeah, so that's my point on that. And Shiro, you can take over now. The next point.
So, number 7 is personality. No slovenly, careless person can become a successful leader. Leadership calls for respect. Followers will not respect a leader who does not grade high on all the factors of a pleasing personality. Honestly, this goes without saying. If you're very hard to talk to, if you don't have a good personality, it is very hard for even anyone probably going through a challenge to actually speak to. And again, I'm speaking to all of us on this call. We are leaders in our own, we are all leaders. So you have to have also that phase of like, okay, you need to be approachable. So as much as, and again, I go back to the trading. Maybe a trade has gone bad and you don't know what to do. Put up a face, have an awesome personality. And I've learned actually when you're talking to somebody on the phone, and if you're smiling, you just sound happy. And you could be having the worst day of life. But if you practice the smile, the other person can actually hear it. And remember, when you have that personality, it's very easy again to also sort of like help each other out. Because, for example, like now, like a very good example of what Lilo has given. If Lilo didn't have a good personality, I don't see how happiness would have felt the urge to say, you know what, I need your help, or come to us and say, I want to be admin of your Forex in Hills group. You just have to be that person. In a nutshell, you have to be very approachable. I guess that's the best way I would want to, because at the end of the day, this business can also be very stressing. Again, that is how even an accountability partner comes in place. If you're having a bad day and you don't have a good personality, in a nutshell, who are not going to like you, so nobody's going to be there for you. So right now, let us again, and I'm not saying anybody here has a bad personality, but again, this is something that is mentioned. And again, we are grooming ourselves to be leaders. And like I have said, if you have 3 in the organization, or even if you have talked to those 10 people, remember those 10 people one day will come and sign. So what are you going to do with the 10? So long as you're talking out there and you have already decided you want to do the second part of the business, you have to have a pleasing personality. They're not two ways about it.
Yeah, and just to add that, being a pleasant personality, are you the kind of person who is always tearing other people down? Are you the kind of person who's always edifying other people? Like something happens and you're quick to just say, this person is like this. You call up somebody else and you say A, B, C, D. Are you that kind of a person? And are you always fussing over non-income producing activities? If you notice something, the reason why some of us, like myself, maybe, and a couple of other leaders on this call, why we've been in the network marketing industry for so long. And guys, I'm just telling you this from personal experience. Why I've never shied to just be a part of the network marketing industry is because of the culture. In the network market, this is the only industry whereby, in as much as we are all trying to be number one, we are all trying to be chairman. This is the industry that taught me to always edify my fellow leaders, to always edify not just my fellow leaders and not just my peers, but also my followers, the people who I'm introducing into the business and so on. So when we are doing this business, as a leader, if you choose to become a leader, because of course not everybody wants to become a leader, but if you choose to become a leader, what kind of a person are you? Are you always complaining about the educators? You enter that trade, oh, that trader is not like this, or Tyrone is like this, or Patrick is like this, or Lilian Okado is like this when I'm future educator. you know, what kind of a person are you? Are you always whining? For me, for example, even in my home, I mean, people who know me personally know this. My daughter, for example, I'll always tell her, stop complaining. So after you've complained, okay, what happens? What happens next? You understand? Like, what kind of a culture are you building around the people you're bringing into the business? Are you being loving to them? Are you being kind to them? And so on and so forth. So that's one thing for me is a big deal, because I realize that if our attitude, and it comes to your attitude again, if your attitude is not pleasant, nobody will care to work with you or wants to work with you.
Good. Number 8. Another attribute is sympathy and understanding. The successful leader must be in sympathy with his followers. Moreover, he must understand them and their problems. This is so vital, and actually we have to, for example, if one of the business partners comes to us and say, for example, this is happening in organization, or maybe I'm not able to enter a trade, or I'm not able to sign up people, we don't shrug them off or laugh about it or whatever. We have to be very sympathetic, because remember, most of us who joined IAM, this is the first time we're doing Forex trading. So we are all beginners. We all came from somewhere. We all started from somewhere. So when somebody comes with you with a problem, don't shun them away, or don't postpone that and say, there's something I'm doing, I'm going to deal with it later. Unless you're on a Zoom call, and as soon as you finish whatever it is that you're doing, please pick up the phone and address that issue. And again, we like to say, it doesn't matter where this person is. It doesn't matter the BK's team, Lilo's team, Uncle Megwe's team, it doesn't matter. We are all Forex traders. We are all trying to hit chairman. So let us be very, very sympathetic and very understanding, because remember, again, if we are not sympathetic with our business partners, when they have problems, they'll sit on them. What progress diminishes. They notice what happens in the organization, there is no progress. Why? Because again, it's not easy to talk to a leader. You get upset when somebody gives you a problem, or you say, no, go and talk to BK, me, I can't sort it out. You'll only escalate a problem, maybe if you're not able to sort it out. Like, for example, you could be signing up somebody and the card refuses. Maybe you've never done it before. Then you can actually tell this person, you know what, let me just check with somebody else who I think can go to sort us out. I'll get back to you. But never postpone a problem to another time, because once we do that, we diminish that person, because they're thinking, okay, so me, my problem doesn't matter. I'm because probably I've not hit a rank. I don't matter. Let us try to be very equal and very sympathetic with each other, especially this time when we are all in our houses. Sometimes it gets a bit mentally, we have to really be sympathetic with each other. And I think once we actually have this, my goodness, we are going to go places. Once you remember, it's us anymore, it's about all of us. Success for everyone. So I think, Lilo, you can add.
Yeah, and I think for me also, it just also reminded me of my own experience when I was going through my financial problems and whatnot. And there was a time when, for almost a year, nobody knew what I was going through, nobody, not even my mother. And I remember there was this friend now who finally called me one day out of the blue, just out of the blue, just on the verge of eviction from my home, And I think I had maybe until an extra week, before the 30th of that month, before I was supposed to leave. And I was trying to figure out, where am I going to find money to pay rent? And this friend of mine just called me up. And I remember breaking down. I had not talked to her in 2 years. at all. I didn't know where she had been, what she had been doing, but she kind of felt like she needed to call me and check up on me. And immediately she asked me, "What's up, Lillian?" I just broke down because I hadn't talked to anybody. But the interesting thing is she called me up and she was like, "You know what? Come over, let's talk about it." And I went to her place and everything. And what caught me was she then opened her doors to me, right? And she did not even like ask me, "Why did you get into this business? Why did you not do your research?" Because also the industry I was getting into, guys, I had no background, zero, you know. And my biggest fear was if I tell my parents, they'll be like, "But why are you here? And you're a writer," you know, kind of thing. And some of you sometimes go through the same thing. So that sympathetic thing just taught me something, that when you're empathetic with people, because sympathetic also has that word empathy, right? When you have empathy for other people, and sometimes I've also learned that because some of us are more exposed to personal development, it's very easy to dismiss people who are not. So sometimes you'll say, "This person quit," and you're like, "Ah, they're not developed," or you know, they are not you know, we as leaders sometimes get to a level of almost arrogance, and we forget that we had a head start. We started doing IM Academy 20 months ago. Somebody just joined. So when they're struggling in the business, as a leader, you have every responsibility to pick them up and show them the ropes. You cannot now tell them you're not serious, you're not, you know, things like that. So for this point for me, that's what came out, that I must consistently be empathetic and soft and kind for everyone around me, because we are all from different backgrounds. People came here with their own problems or their own visions and dreams. We can't be the same people bringing them down. Yeah.
Okay, the third point is mastery of detail. Successful leadership calls for mastery of details of the leader's position. Again, and this is something I learned from Komegwe back when we were in Sokima, when we were going to his house. He kept asking, we're on WhatsApp groups. How many of us have saved those numbers, those people on those WhatsApp groups? Imagine if, for example, I called somebody, I'm like, "Who is this?" We're in the same organization and I don't even know who you are. So I remember actually an exercise he took us through, that so long as we're in his group, we all have to save those numbers. What does that do? In case somebody calls you from that organization, you say, "Hi, John, how are you?" Do you know how that person feels? Like, "Hey, Enye Agnes knows me." You know, there's that thing of like, Enye Agnes is very detailed. So there's something that goes with detail and being a leader. Again, sometimes I keep saying, when even like a flyer is sent out onto the group, take some time, check it out. There could be an error in the misspelling. Okay, and something else about spelling. As leaders and as business partners, let us get people's names right. You know, there's nothing as rude as confusing people's names. You know, so that is, again, those small things we take for granted are what matter to a lot of people. Like, there's something I like about Thomas Sinclair. Look at when Thomas is introducing somebody. The first, for example, my name is Anne. A will never be small letters. It is capital A. Look at the way Thomas, even the way he splits, the way when he's introducing, he has so much detail. Again, look at who his coach is. And Komegwe is same thing. Again, those small things, the full stops, but then these things are very crucial. No, honestly, guys, it all boils down to, because remember, if you're concentrating on detail, even your business, you're concentrating in it. Even in your trading journey, you're concentrating on that. You're not just going to enter in detail into it. Or if you're, of course, building your business, you have to be very detailed for you to become a successful leader. And remember, again, people are duplicating what they're doing. Again, look, me, I'm duplicating Thomas. I met him, I think, about 6-7 months. He's teaching me something new. I'm duplicating it. You see, so again, as a leader and as business partners, let's be very detailed. And I think let's start the exercise. Whenever somebody's introducing the team, chap, just like store it on your phone. We may have over 1,001 phone contacts, but watch your phone book yako ijae. It's okay. Because in case someone ever calls you, just in case, have that thing of telling them, "Hi Lillian, how are you?" It says a lot, and that is something for me I learned from Ankomekwe, and I keep doing it just to make sure at least I know who is in the organization. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing, Shiro. And just this attention to detail, reminds me of, I don't know if for those those on some of you, I don't know if you know that I love German cars. So I love like the Mercedes. And one of my dreams is to own a G-Wagon at some point. And the reason why was because why I started loving German cars was because initially I never had, I mean, I had a car, yeah, but I was driving a Toyota Vitz. For those who know the Toyota Vitz, yes, that's the car I used to drive. And then one day I upgraded and I bought a German car, right? That was before my period, yeah, my financial period. And the reason why people drive such cars is because of the attention to detail that the Germans have when they're creating their cars. So it's not a matter of necessarily luxury or anything. It's just that those are some of the safest cars. Those are some of the cars that, you know, like they feel like you're in the car, you feel like you're in a plane. And so compared to, let's say, the Japanese cars and so on, not all of them, but some of them. So for me, when I think about this paying attention to detail, you know, like Shiro says, pay attention to every single thing. Make it so precise that there can be no X or wrong to it. No one can come and knock it. I mean, why do we follow leaders like David Imonite, Brandon Boyd, Jason Brown, Alex Morton? Why do we follow these guys? Have you, for example, I mean, David is my all-time mentor. Have you ever listened to David Imonite breaking down the alphabet, or using the alphabet A to Z to teach you about success? And he talks about, I mean, there's just a certain way that he carries himself, there's a certain way that he paints the vision, even when they have their mentorship calls, where they have come to paint for us the vision of I am. The way they do it, they detail in it that they apply when they're talking about the vision of the company. By the time you're done, you're not confused about where I am is going. You're not confused about, and that's the thing about now being very detailed also about where you're going as an individual, because you can then tell others who are coming in to follow the same vision, because you are able to clearly, in detail, paint for everyone the vision. So for me, I would just say at the end of the day, if you haven't been paying attention, then it's time to start paying attention. And this mentorship call, in as much as, you know, we've been doing it for the last 6 weeks, maybe some of you are on this call to support us. Hallelujah. It's awesome. We appreciate your support, you know. However, this call is not just about supporting us. These calls are for you. We've been doing this for 6 weeks. Are you guys paying attention? Are you becoming the kind of leaders who are taking down details, writing? Bernard always says this, write down these notes, write them, even if it's 100 times. Because what you're doing is you're becoming detailed at your execution, at your learning, at your understanding. And that's the only way you'll be able to pass on that knowledge and information to other people. So that's all for me on that point.
Oh, so the second, willingness to assume full responsibility. The successful leader must be willing to assume responsibility for the mistakes and shortcomings of his followers. If he tries to shift this responsibility, he will not remain the leader. If one of his followers makes a mistake and shows himself incompetent, the leader must consider that it is him who has failed. Again, as a leader, you cannot say, for example, a poster with a wrong ID was sent. I'm not going to, BK will not start saying, no guys, Shiro is the one who made the mistake. I'm sorry, as a leader, BK has to take up the responsibility and try and adjust. And I'll give, for example, like there's a time we were hosting the training. Unfortunately, I mean, Uncle Mego were using his link, but his power went. Remember, the link has gone, eh? But Lilo already chap sent another link, posted. You didn't hear her saying, I cannot reach Uncle Megwe. That is not leadership. Okay? So you are, as a leader, as a member of IAM, as a business owner, you already have to, if something is going wrong, and I'm not saying him having powers are shortcoming, but that it just happened, and they would not have been able to start saying, no. So Lilo already, even nobody knew Uncle Megwe didn't have power. No, she already immediately went back into the group saying, sorry guys, in fact she said, my mistake, and send out another ID that she was able to host. So again, it was seamless running. Okay, so again, as a leader, you have to take responsibility, you have to be there. If people again are not attending Zoom, find out your organization, like I'm saying, P600 on these calls, you have 12 people on your call. Why aren't you people attending mentorship calls? Why aren't they attending beginners calls? Why don't you have the correct apps? Again, leaders on this call, if you have, again, I'm talking, if you have 3 people, if your business partners don't have these apps, it is your shortcoming. It is your shortcoming. If they're not attending these trainings, you are the one to blame. You cannot blame Uncle Megwe, you cannot below. It is you who is not doing, because, for example, if you're a P600, those are 12 people. How long is it going to take you? A reminder, text message, remember to be on this call. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we have realized in this business, for new members, we have to sort of work with them until that point where they are able to walk by themselves. And they are our babies. And we keep saying, if you don't breastfeed this child, what happens? Becomes malnourished, I think. You don't breastfeed the child. Cindy, that is what. So imagine you have to be there. You breastfeed the child for 6 months, right? The mothers on the call.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you sign up somebody today, you have to work for 6 months. Meaning you have to call them, make sure they're on Zoom, make sure they're entering trades, make sure they have the 6 months. That is one person. You have to do that. If not that, you become very malnourished, and at some point, they may die. I'm sorry.
And I know, honestly, taking the blame for somebody else's incompetence, guys, it's not easy. I mean, it's not. It really is not. But I keep on saying, you have to choose a battle. Okay, you have to decide. Am I going to be a leader or am I going to be a follower? If you're a follower, by the way, you're allowed to point fingers up or sideways. But when you're a leader, unfortunately, you can't do that. You can never, like Shiro said, shift the blame to somebody else. And please note something else. And this is one of the key points that came out of this for me, that when there's failure in a team, that failure is a reflection of your leadership, or it's a reflection of my leadership. So I'll give you a personal experience, yeah? In my 28, how many months? Almost 2 years stint in IAM, personally, Leonocado has introduced or signed up over 60, 76, maybe almost 70 people, personally. If we do the math, that's about 5 people per month on average, right? In the last maybe 1.5 years. So I've done quite a bit. I mean, it's not much. I mean, we have gurus here, Bernard Kiraive, top recruiter, Tumpeo. I mean, you guys, you jazz me, you're awesome. But here's the thing, yeah. Yes, I have brought in those people, and let's not even count the people I have signed under other people directly. Okay, so there've been more people. But the thing is, I am at Platinum 2000 level. Considering that maybe I have had, not even maybe, yes, I've had multiple platinum leaders in my team since I started. I mean, we used to celebrate them, platinum 150s, platinum 600s, and so on. It means that my team is meant to be bigger than platinum 2000 level. So right now, ideally, I should be a minimum chairman 10 based on my history, okay? Now, here is the thing. People have dropped from the team. People have left. People have learned how to trade, by the way, and they've gone and they're doing their own thing as traders, okay, in my team. But you will never hear me at any one point pointing a finger and saying, this person left, this person there, and all that and all that. In fact, I don't even bother with people who have left, especially, okay, this is just me, not for everybody. And the other day I had David Imoniche saying this, that he's not interested in people leaving. He's like, retention and all that, his work is just to expose people to this opportunity, give people a chance to learn. This thing of always just thinking this person has left, it brings out a lot of luck, okay? And then it's a reflection of you. If people are leaving, sometimes take a sit back and say, okay, what is it that you're not doing? So I remember for me, I realized people were leaving because they were not learning how to trade. And this brings me to the end of what I'm saying. For me, my passion and my vision right now, guys, and this is something I've shared with my trading partner, my accountability partner, Paul Okello, who is in the US. And I keep on saying, even if I am my road to chairman takes longer than anticipated, if people are making money trading, because I have shown them how to trade, I am willing to sacrifice my time to get to chairman, because I'm not shifting my goalpost. I'm just saying it's okay. It's okay, because maybe that's why my team has not been growing the way it needs to grow, because people aren't making money, you know? And this is where now I looked at myself and I said, you know what? This is a reflection on your leadership, Lillian. This has nothing to do with somebody going to another similar company that is offering trading and joining another team. You understand? People leave because of you. People stay because of you. Okay, so for me, I just want to wrap it up there, because I know we've gone longer than we really should, but I think we have one more point. Yes, Shiro? Yes, sorry. Before you wrap it up, yes, we have one more point. Yes, and then I wanted to say on that same point, people join a company because of you. You sold them dreams, guys. You are, even if you've signed up one person, you sold a dream to one person. Okay, and if they joined because of you, guess what? They will leave because of you. You sold them. They will leave because of you, because the dreams that you sold them didn't pan out. So that's a point of reflection on that point.
Okay, so yeah, now point, Miss Okado. Cooperation. The successful leader must understand and apply the principle of cooperative effort and be able to induce his followers to do the same. Leadership calls for power and power calls for cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll just ask, getting that. You can see me, right? I have a question. For example, I'll give an example of, I signed up Uncle Megwe, right? Uncle Megwe, for example, signed up Thomas. And guys, I'm not just saying it because Uncle Megwe is my uncle, but do you know, we went to Uncle Megwe's place for 1 month, BK and myself, and thereafter, Uncle Megwe has been able to duplicate what we showed him and duplicate to his team. What do I mean? It's very hard from somebody from Uncle Megwe's team to call me directly for help. Why? Because Uncle has put systems that so long as you're in this team, there's duplication. So my question, when you bring somebody into the organization, and guys, I'll be very harsh, are we relying on BK to be supporting that person? You who sold this dream to Dorcas Wanyoni, are you helping her calculate pips, or are you calling BK and saying Dorcas has a problem? Who sold the dream? Who sold the vision? Why again are you not transferring that effort to somebody else? I'm sorry, guys, why do you want to be lazy? Why are we trying to again transfer our problems to other people? You brought me in, hold me my hand. You understand? Because we have seen most times we are relying on some people to do almost all the work. And ladies and gentlemen, imagine you have an organization of 1,000 people. They are not duplicating what you're doing. Again, you're going back to your 8 to 5 job because you have to do all the work. Because what are you doing? You're not duplicating. Again, like I'm saying, I came here before Uncle Megwe, but I'm learning so much that, let me tell you, if we are able to do, I also sit with BK. His team is also duplicating, Lilo the same. Are we again trickling down this to our business partners? When again bring into a person, is there that cooperative effort? Are they, once they are in the academy for, let's say, 2 weeks, if they sign up somebody, are they able to show what apps they're supposed to download? Or are you calling BK and say, by the way, BK, which apps? Already when you're joining, see, there's that message you are told, these are, why aren't you trying the person you brought into the organization? Why aren't we taking responsibility? Why aren't we cooperating as a team? Then it's going to lessen work for all of us. Again, that is where again power comes from. And I don't know if all of us on this call on Instagram look at the way Kina Bryce Thompson work. Oh my goodness, the cooperation in that team is amazing. What Bryce is doing is what his team members are doing, and that's why he has so many chairmen in his team, so many platinum, because once they come on board, they are again duplicated, and it's from, he has trickled down this duplication from the top. It becomes easier and seamless for every person on the call. So Lilo, now you can officially bring the ball.
Yeah, I don't even want to add too much to that because I think you've wrapped it up very well on cooperation. Basically, like teamwork makes the dream work, guys. Teamwork makes the dream work. And if you look at the word team, it basically means together, everyone achieves more. That's the acronym. Like, I don't know who came up with that, but I saw that and I was like, that makes so much sense because together, for sure, everyone achieves more. So if everyone is just all over the place, guys, and even in your team, like if you don't know what your downline is doing, you've signed them up, you don't know whether they are coming on Zooms or not, it won't work. Like, yes, you will keep on adding people to the team. Yes, you will be that leader. Yes, people will look up to you. But at the end of the day, if there's no cooperation, you will lose your team or your growth will become stunted. And those are the kind of things that I've been reflecting over in just my own business, in terms of my business as I am. Where have I been going wrong as a leader? And I'm humbled enough to say that I've not been perfect. This is also a space where I've never been chairman. I don't know how chairman, operate. So this is why we are doing these calls, guys, because we understand that for us to get to the level of David Imonite, some of us are coming from very far. Like when I say far, we are coming from very behind. We need to really, really do more than other people are doing. We need to really put ourselves more than other people are doing. We need to really cooperate, and in summary, just so that you guys know what we've been talking about, the 11 qualities of a leader, okay? And this is what we've been talking about today. The first one is courage. The second one is a willingness to assume full responsibility over your team, over your business, not passing on blame to somebody else. The third one is self-control, okay? You need to control yourself. You need to control your emotions. You need to control your everything to do with how you're doing the business, whether it's the finances that are coming in, whether it's your time, whether you have a schedule or not, you need to have the self-control, The next one is a keen sense of justice. Number 4, a keen sense of justice. You need to be fair, guys. You need to treat everyone on your team equally. There are no favorites, whether or not Tumpeo is signing up 10 people, or I don't know who else is signing, and not that I'm mentioning Tumpeo, that it's a bad thing. Just, you get my point. Number 5, pleasant personality. If you struggle with people, and I love when David Imonite says this, then you shouldn't be in network marketing, because unfortunately, network marketing is about people, okay? So you need to begin to develop that pleasant personality, talk to people nicely, be kind to them with your words, let people enjoy being in your presence. Number 6, sympathetic. We need to be sympathetic, and I'll add empathetic. We need to not stop being in ourselves and thinking that everyone else, because they're struggling with the business, it's because they don't want to do what they need to do. Sometimes people are just going through hard times. Pick up the phone, call them, check up on your leaders, check up on your downlines, check up on your team members, your peers, find out what people are going through. Then number 7, be decisive. Make your decision. Are you going to do I am or not? Is it going to be Forex or not? Are you going to do IBO or not? Don't be wishy-washy. Remember, I keep on saying 50-50 is a place of confusion. Number 8, plan. Plan. Remember, I did a call some time ago about planning the trade and trading the plan. I can assure you, majority of you have not watched that clip that is saved on YouTube. You need to go and just watch it, because it gives you a breakdown of how to plan your trade, for example. And the same thing with planning your entire business, you can plan as well. Number 9, paying attention to detail. Pay attention to detail. Pay attention to what's happening in your team. Pay attention to what is happening in your business. Pay attention to every single detail about what's happening in the company. Number 10, willingness to assume full responsibility. Yes, we know it is hard to stand up for incompetence in the team, in leaders, in whatnot, but don't be that person who is talking behind other leaders and not finding a solution. Yes, you can go and discuss and look at somebody and say, I need help with this person. But if there's no solution, then it can't work. Then, so taking full responsibility for the success and the failure in your business. Then number 11, and the final one, cooperation, teamwork, teamwork. And I think it was very deliberate that Napoleon Hill made this the 11th and the final quality of a leader, because it summarizes all the 11, all the other 10 traits. Okay, cooperation. If we are not a team, if we are not working together, guys, if you guys don't come on our calls, we would not be here. So that wraps it up for me. I just want to say thank you so much for always being here on the calls, guys, on time. You guys are amazing. We do this for you, but honestly, we are growing because of you. We are becoming better leaders because of the 18 of you who have stayed here until 6:45 p.m. in the evening, when you could be somewhere else. So I just want to extend my gratitude to all of you. I just want to say thank you so much. Shiro, of course, we do this, we work, we grind. We'll keep grinding and working until we get to chairman, until we achieve our 6-figure income trading goal. And for everyone on the leaders, all the other leaders, even if I haven't mentioned you, just know that you're in our prayers, you're in our, our hearts as Forex in Heels duo or team. And that's all for me this evening. Thank you so, so, so much. And guys, just have a lovely evening. Have a lovely evening and all the best. See you at 7 in the next 15 minutes.
Thank you, guys. See you, Agnes. Thank you, George. Thank you, everybody. See you in 15 minutes. Bye.